Episode 239, the follow-along series with Sidney Smith. Welcome to the pursuit of the perfect race. I'm Coach Terry Wilson, and with each episode, I bring stories of athletes to you that share their experiences at races in order for you to learn how to have your perfect race. You'll hear stories from athletes of all ages, abilities, and races of all distances. So regardless of where you fit in, there's something in it for you. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Now let the pursuit begin. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pursuit of the Perfect Race. Today I'm continuing the follow-along series with Sidney Smith, talking about February this time. How you been, man?
I'm in great. How about you?
Good, man. Just hanging out, going to school. How's life been for you?
It's been busy, but good, productive, and good.
Nice. So how's your training been going, man?
You know what? It's been getting better. I would say I've gained some gains and then hit a few plateaus, but for the most part, it's been getting better.
Nice. So what do you mean?
Well, so with my prosthetics that I have now, I say that's where I've had the most ups and downs. My prosthetic guy in Tennessee, we've been kind of dealing with some issues. My limb kept falling asleep, and I don't know how to explain it, but there's something that was pinching a nerve, and so my stump would go numb, and then it would raise up to my knee, and then up to my thigh, and then it'd go kind of in my little bit in my lower back, and it just was painful. I couldn't function well, and so we were trying to figure out isolate where that issue was happening. So we've actually gone through a few test sockets and carbon fiber sockets to figure out where it is. And that was on the left side. The right side was just an issue of it being too tight. And so we tried different things and we finally got it right. And then we make a carbon fiber final version of it. And then when I get it in the mail, it was too tight. So something has happened, whether my limb would get too inflamed, or there's too much muscle that I'm gaining in my calf, or I'm gaining weight or too much water weight. The shape has not been the proper shape it should be. So finally we figured out something with that was the right shape, the right side. However, there's been a spot that would cause too much pressure, and then it was uncomfortable to wear throughout the day. The left side, as of I think the last couple days, I figured out where I'm having a pinching point, where there's some nerve that's kind of tied into the calf muscle that just needed a little bit of relief. So I've taken a Dremel tool myself and kind of figured out where it is, and then I would try different things. Usually I get exposure of prosthetic issues when I'm running. And then cycling, it's a different thing because it's the way the knee bends and the way that the sockets are functioning can expose two different things. So, and sorry to sound like this is complicated, but it is complicated.
Well, it makes sense. So this sounds like it's not only going to take time to get the right fit for you, but it's also going to be an expensive process.
It is. It really shouldn't, and partially is my own fault. I think the communication with me and my prosthetist usually is pretty good, and he's great. I mean, he's probably the best out there. But the time frame that we had, I should have invested more by either going out to Nashville or spending more time with him in Salt Lake and just being a little bit more vocal of what issues I'm having, biking more, running more. But it just is difficult because, the weather's not the best for outside or for running and biking. And so it's just such a limited time. But we're getting better at it. Like I said, I've only been an amputee for 3 years. And so there's some things I'm figuring out on my own how to communicate issues that I'm experiencing, and then how to have him understand, where they're having issues and how to fix them based on just what I'm feeling because I could point like, oh, it hurts here, but really it's not there. It's in an area next to it. Because if he relieves pain in that one area, it could then cause issues in another.
Wow.
So, I know it sounds crazy. It's frustrating right now because I think I got it, and then the next day I'm not 100% sure. But right now, as of right now, cross some fingers, knock on wood, my left side feels pretty good. My right's another story.
So I know you did a Q&A on Instagram during the month of February, which was pretty cool. I learned a lot about you. But I didn't see anybody ask this question, and that's, do you ever have an itch on your stump, but it's actually somewhere else on your stump where you have to scratch it because of the nerve endings or anything like that?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Usually like healing. So like if I get a blister and that sore starts to heal, it itches like crazy. But there's also other places that itches that don't exist. Like, for example, phantom pain.
Yeah.
Phantom pain. I don't know if we talked about it on this podcast, but it's something that amputees experience where the limb is gone, but they still feel that limb. Usually it is sensation such as pain, but sometimes it's things like an itch. So I'll have an itch on the back of my heel or the inside of my foot or in between my toes, and I just can't do anything about it. So it just drives me crazy. But yeah, I do get itches sometimes.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, like, not really cool in some situations, but pretty interesting. So how's your training been going? Your longest swim, bike, and runs, what's this looking like?
We've stepped it up a little bit. We're at about 10, 11 hours a week. We're still doing some strength training here and there. Last week was just straight up swim, bike, and run. We did my first lactate test to just see where I need to, where I'm at, my boundaries, so my coach can kind of get a better plan. It was actually a pretty cool process where we started off at a certain wattage and then just kept building up and stop. He'd draw blood, build up, stop, draw blood, just to get to a certain threshold and see kind of where to start, the intensity of my training.
Wow. So what was your lactate threshold at?
220.
Wow. Nice
watts, I think, is where's that. So I appreciated it. And I don't know if that's good or not. Like I said, I'm new to the game. And so I asked him, I said, so is that good? And he goes, oh yeah, that's great. Obviously there's people that have done better, but there was a guy in front of me that's just a beast on the course. And I couldn't find out his is at 220 as well. However, he's also probably 40 pounds lighter than me. So,
but you don't have legs and he does. So is the playing field really equal? I mean, I don't know. Legs are overrated. You get toe cramps, plantar fasciitis, that kind of stuff. I think it's overrated. Yeah. So what about shoes? Do you have to wear certain shoes when you run? I mean, I know that sounds stupid, but there's a traction problem with the blades, right?
No, there's not a shoe for the blade. It's just a sole that's glued onto the bottom. It's a tire tread, and it just has different grooves on it. And then the guys that design the blade itself are actually in Salt Lake, a company called Phil Hour, and their blades have a split toe to it. It's kind of a cool design. But they've gone off, and there's been a few times, especially when I was training for the marathon, I would wear out that tread, and so they'd go in there and replace that tread. So I don't wear anything shoes wise for running except for a trail run. A trail run, I do wear a different actual prosthetic that I'll wear a shoe. This year though, I had a 5K that we did, and it was in the snow, and the ground had ice and stuff on it. So I was a little unsure how to react to the blade. So I actually brought some chains that I use that tie on to my snow boots when I go ice fishing. And I figured a way to rig them up onto my blades. And that seemed to help from sliding on the ice a little bit. So I'm just kind of testing things out.
Nice. So as far as your longest swim, bike, and run goes for February, what does this look like?
My longest swim, he has me about 4,000 yards. We're doing more swims. I think we talked about this last podcast, but I've noticed there's just been some more inserts of swim to help with my recovery, which I love, and it's something totally that I'm not different that I'm not used to. Yeah, Andrew has me swimming about 4,000 yards. The runs have been very minimal as far as distance wise. It's just been more about time, which is awesome. Again, Andrew's just been very cautious about the stump health, and he knows that I'm in the transition of getting a comfortable socket that I could do a longevity of running, but he's adding it up. So I think my longest run now is for 60 minutes straight. But a lot of 30 minutes here and there, 45 minutes here and there. Biking, the longest bike ride he has me at is about 2.5 hours. But every day usually consists of about 2 different things. So it's either a swim and a run, or a bike and a run, or a bike and weights. Like today was a bike and a strength training. So it's enough to keep me busy for sure.
Wow. So how does this balance well with your family?
It's great. I find myself getting up earlier in the morning to try to accommodate that. And then with work, I try to mix my schedule. So sometimes I can't get a whole workout done before work because I got something going on. So I'll try to get the base of it and then finish the rest during my lunch break or after work. But it's going well. I do train inside mostly just because of the snow. We got, tons of snow. And it's going to be a while till we get to train outside again. But my wife appreciates it because I'm home, but I'm kind of not home. But it's better than just being gone all the time.
Yeah. So you hunt anything in February?
Nope, not hunting. Just doing a little ice fishing. We're actually doing a pretty cool promotional ice fishing video. We're just trying to figure out a good day to get a good sunrise. But yeah, no hunting in February or March, and then turkeys are in April.
Nice.
So that's next on the list.
Wow. So what did you do in February that you had the most fun doing?
Training wise, or just all around? All
together, man.
February's kind of I don't know if it's just because it's a short month or what, but it just goes by so fast. Every year I look forward to going to the Hunt Expo, and it's in Salt Lake, and I took the whole weekend off. So I got a chance to network with some of the hunters. And then I really liked that lactate threshold test I did with my coach. It was the first one-on-one session that him and I were able to have together. And so, like I said, because we're so far apart, a lot of it's over text messages and phone calls. So it was kind of cool to have him see me do what I'm doing, what my prosthetics really look like on my bike, what I use for running. And then he could see, we did some strength training too. So he was able to see kind of how I function. So I guess that weekend where I did the Hunt Expo and the training with him was probably the highlight for February.
Wow. So the Hunt Expo, what did that consist of?
It's called the Western Hunt Expo. It's kind of geared towards Western hunting. So you have a lot of Alaska stuff, a lot of elk, a lot of mule deer, a lot of the companies out here in Salt Lake, Colorado that represent some of the hunting brands like Hoyt, and just an overall geared towards the Western hunting atmosphere. I'm an ambassador for Mountain Ops, which is a supplement company, and they do a lot. They did a 5K. They do different activities. They do a movie night where they showcase different hunting films, and it's just kind of a good time to meet a bunch of friends and network with them and see what kind of products are out there on the market.
Nice. So as far as your day-to-day nutrition, to kind of shift gears a little bit, Have you gained weight, lost weight? I know you said something about retaining a little bit of water. Is that because you're down there at the expo drinking and eating too much deer jerky?
I did eat a lot of jerky. Gosh dang it. The elk that I just killed last month, I did turn a lot of it into jerky. So I have been eating that. As far as losing weight, I guess my expectations would think that I would look amazing. I mean, my coach also coached George, that you had on a previous podcast. And I told him, I said, hey, I got to look as good as that guy does in a Speedo when we're done with this. So let's get to work. Obviously, I have a long ways to go. As far as where my weight is now, I am about the same, which I guess it's a little bit frustrating because you think, well, if I'm training so much, I should be losing weight. And then just talking to my nutritionist, though, we're just kind of toying with where some areas that I need to be better at. Obviously, I'm not perfect at, but this week we've kind of figured out where I should balance some more of the healthier carbs, and we're starting to see a little bit of results. The training partner that I train with from time to time, he's almost gone to the point where he's cut out carbs in the afternoon and he's losing weight. I don't know how well his workouts are going, but for the most part, I need to lose a little bit of weight. And so we're getting closer to that.
Where are you at right now?
I am at 224.
Okay. So is that with or without legs?
Without legs, I'm probably a good 20 pounds less, or 18 pounds, I think is what we weighed him out to be. So yeah, that's with legs is 224.
Okay. So when we got the phone last month, I thought of this because you're doing that 10K challenge in the water, the 100 by 100s, right? Mm-hmm. What is the process for you to actually get in the pool and get out of the pool? Because for most people, they don't have to deal with prosthetics or walking, where if you don't have your prosthetics on, you have to crawl almost, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I take my legs, my walking legs, right to the pool side, and then, I take them off, obviously. And then, I check for sores. I don't want any infections, of course. And then I wear, a pant. They're like neoprene shorts, but they're a little longer. Xterra makes them. They're called, lava pants. And, why I like them, is that they help balance, my plane in the water because of the buoyancy in the back. And since I'm not kicking, it helps keep my, stumps a little bit higher in the water. So I'm able to swim better. I could still swim without them, but I'm just not nearly as effective in the water without them. And obviously a wetsuit's going to give me even more buoyancy. So, it's just kind of a happy medium.
Wow. So you basically need like a pair of shorts like that, or just like an old wetsuit that you can just cut up and like seam together to have like ones for your stumps, huh?
Yeah. I thought about making or calling Roku or Xterra to see if they can make me a little sleeve that goes over my stump and has like a little pad. Because one thing I miss being a swimmer that I don't do now in the water is flip turns. And I lose so much, time in the water when, training with other people, they do flip turns. Well, I don't get to do that. I just touch the wall with my hand and then push off with my hand and then move on. If I had a flip turn thing, I could use like a sleeve that went over my stumps. I could do the flip turn and then kick off my stumps. Otherwise, it would hurt, to have the bare skin on the tile like that. So that's one of the ideas I was thinking of.
Wow. So kind of like a really thick chamois on the bottom, on the inside of that, to kind of protect your stump a little bit. So that way you push off.
Yep. I like a little booty, like a little sleeve or something like that. Cone.
So, see, we covered quite a bit about this month of February. What else do you want to add about February? It's been pretty easy already? Any struggles mentally or emotionally?
Not necessarily mentally or emotionally, I wouldn't say. I think physically, there's been just some frustrations with trying to lock into that perfection in prosthetics. I'll have a good day and then a bad day. And then weight loss, I know that's probably where I'm going to see the best improvement. But yeah, we're so far away. I mean, there's so much more time that I could get to that point. I mean, I think ideally I'd like to lose about 20 pounds, which I feel like I can get to, of course, by November. But who knows? I think it could be 30 or 40 pounds. Who knows?
Wow. So when we talk in June, I know we're a few months away from June, but when we talk in June, what is something that you want to be able to say about the previous months going into that interview, about your training and your life?
Sorry, say the question again.
Okay, so when we talk in June, what is something that you want to be able to say about the previous months of training going into that interview?
Oh, compared to my training now?
Yeah.
So my training now compared to my training then in June, a lot of it was information that I was just gaining on my own. I'm still new at prosthetics, but I had some blades that were causing issues as far as balance goes. And it would put a lot of pressure on my knee joint, and I'd get bursitis and blisters around my knee joint. And I was wasting a lot of energy and running trying to balance on these prosthetic blades. This year I'm on a different set of blades that give me a little bit more stability. And then, so that's, I guess, a big plus that I feel like I have a longevity on prosthetics. And then having, I guess, a different mindset is that, this is what my ultimate goal is. And the motivation is higher than it's ever been to do a certain race. And the confidence is obviously a lot there versus where it was when I saw you last year a couple of years ago. So that's kind of where I guess the difference is that I feel a little more experienced, and I'm training more efficiently, and we're using science, baby, to get this done.
Nice. Well, to wrap up the episode, man, what is your word or phrase of the month?
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did ask me that last time. I should have come more prepared. Let me think real quick. The word and phrase of the month. Keep holding on. Keep holding on.
What does that mean to you, man?
I haven't really thought, if I'm going to back out, I should back out now versus right before, right? That's not where I'm going with it. It's just, it's frustrating to be training inside. And there's days that I'm like, man, this trainer sucks. The treadmill sucks. But I just got to keep holding on because it's going to get warm. It's going to be nice outside.
One day, soon.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yes.
Man, well, have a good day, and we'll talk soon, okay, man?
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Follow Along series. Don't forget to check back next month to follow this athlete's progress. Please leave a review over on iTunes and check out my websites to see pictures from this athlete.